Hi there. I recently posted a video on how to test your idea, and it provoked more questions from one of the students, and so I'm responding to that by creating a video called How to Determine Your Niche. How do you determine your profitable niche? So I'm going to look at that, give you some ideas on how to do that, and hopefully we'll be able to dovetail with the other video on how to test your idea. Okay, let's go straight into it. The first thing I want to do is to look at the definition of a niche. Okay, a niche is a focused, and now I want you to note certain words here: focused, targetable part of a market. It's a focused part, is a targetable part, which means you can reach the clients, which means you can reach the audience, which means you can build an audience around it. You are a specialist providing a product. I found this online. I just think it's so good. You are a specialist providing a product or service that focuses on specific clients' needs. You are a specialist providing a product or service that focuses on a specific client group's needs. So therefore, if you do all that, you have a niche. If you do all that, you have a profitable niche. So question is, how do you even start? I want to back up to, how do you start a business? What kind of business should you start? A lot of people ask that. So let me give it to you now, okay? This is my, after many years of being an advisor, this is my now definite, so far, my now two broad ways. There are two broad ways of starting a business, or two broad ways of finding your niche, or two broad ways to determine what kind of business should you start, or what niche should I go into, or that kind of stuff. All right, to determine a niche or to start a business, it should be one of the following two aspects I'm going to show you. Okay, number one, it should be based on your passion and or your skills. The business you should start, or the niche you should go into, which is the market, which is the client group you should cater for, which is the ones you should try and meet their needs, should be based around your passion and skill. All right? That's the first way. The second way is that you can base your niche or your business around a gap you found in the market. So it's based on discovering of a gap in the market. Based on the discovering of a gap in the market. Okay, those are the two broad ways. Everything else you can think of kind of fits into there. So let's go back and just take it one by one. Let's look at this. Based on your passion and skills. Okay, so if we look at the example I'm going to use in the video on how to test your idea, we talk about the hairdresser. I just chose that particular industry. Okay, no reason whatsoever, just using it as an example. Okay, just an example. So for a hairdresser to start a business and even think about focusing on a particular group of people, he or she needs to have a passion for that business and skill for that business. Okay, there's a huge debate on whether finding a gap is better than a skill. But the point is, only true... Now, let me rephrase that. Only a specific few can find a gap and fill it. But most of us are going to start a business based on your passion and your skill, and then try to build an audience that you're going to satisfy. So you're going to, first of all, your first goal, if you are this kind of person, your first goal is to think about What are my skills? What are my passion? How do you know? How do you determine your passion? I'm going to give you one simple test. Your passion is a job or a service you will provide even if you are not being paid for it. Okay? So a hairdresser who loves doing hair will do hair without getting paid anyway. I'm not saying he or she should not get paid. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just using it as an example to help you to find your passion. So whatever it is you would do, that even if you are not getting paid for it, you still do it. That's your passion. Now, even if you don't have all the skills necessary to enable that passion to be profitable, because you're passionate about it, you are more likely to learn. You're more likely to go through the peaks and troughs of the problem. You're more likely to be able to determine, and you're more likely to be determined about that business because you're passionate about it. Okay? So now, I hope I'm clear on that. This starting a business or finding a niche, starting a business, right? Then you find a niche. Okay? So you have a passion that you want to use to start a business. Now you're going to look for a market to satisfy or an audience to build. Okay? Second thing, the second second way to start a business and find a niche is to really discover a gap. Now, sometimes you're working in a place and you discover that, wow, there's an opportunity here. That's what I'm talking about. For somebody, just looking at the hairdressing business again. Somebody comes to a town and there are no hairdressers in that town. So that's a gap. And a person who may not have the passion for hairdressing, but just notices a gap, can still satisfy that gap and build a business around it simply because they found that there is an opportunity here to be exploited. That person does not have to have the skill, does not have to have the passion. All they need to do is find a gap that they know is going to work, because obviously if you have a town of about 5,000 people, sooner or later somebody's going to have to come and do their hair and get paid for it and pay for it. Okay, so you're going to need a hairdresser of some sort, either male or female. You're going to need it. So that's a gap in the market. Now you have to determine which one are you. Are you the one that wants to work your passion, or the one that wants to work by finding a gap? Those are the first two things you have to clarify in your mind. You've got to know, okay, I really want to pursue my passion, or I'm going to find a gap. All right. People argue that, there's a combination of both. The reason why people say that, and, to some extent I agree, because even though you're passionate about a particular industry, like the hairdressing industry we're using as an example, you still have to find the niche to sell to. Because when we look at remember when we looked at the definition of what a niche was, let's go back to that and have a quick look at it. We said a niche was a focused, targetable part of a market. You're a specialist in providing a product or service that focuses on that specific client group's needs. So you still have to find the audience that you want to serve. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about that in a moment. But I'm just recapping on what I've said. There are two broad ways of starting a business and then finding a niche, which is a market within the whole population to satisfy. And that market, being the niche, you've got to be determined in the beginning whether you're starting your business based on your passion and skill, or based on you haven't discovered a gap in the market. All right. So now, how do you go forward? Where or how to research your niche? Okay. Where I normally start from, if I'm researching a niche, I always start by keyword research on Google. I go onto Google, I type in the name. So I might type in hairdressers as the example we're using. So hairdressers in, I might name a town. Okay. So what's my purpose of going on to Google and typing in hairdressers? Well, I want to learn a little bit more about that, how that industry works. I want to learn a little bit more about the language. I've not yet discovered my niche. Okay, I'm researching it now. Okay, I'm just researching the market, just looking at what I might be able to do. Because the reality is, until you research, even though you have all this passion, you're passionate about this stuff, you still don't know exactly who to sell to, and that's not a problem. You go research it. Okay, that's where the research comes in. So you go on Google, you find out about the language. Then you might also discover the problems people have about hair. It could be like, people hate queuing at hairdressers, or they hate spending too many hours at the hairdressers, or whatever you might find when you do your keyword research. The second thing I'll do is I'll go onto Facebook and also do a search. It's got a search bar at the top. I'll do a search on Facebook. What I want to do, I'm kind of looking for groups, or I'm looking for pages that I can start getting involved in, that are talking about hair, okay? Because I'm passionate about this subject. So I'm gonna write about it. I'm gonna respond to a post or to a status post. I'm gonna respond to that. I'm gonna get involved in the community of people who talk about that particular industry. That's what I'm going to do. So by doing that, I'm also establishing myself as an expert and building my audience. The whole point of you doing your research, or let me rephrase that, the whole point of you researching is that at the end of the day, you want to build an audience around the problems you want to solve, the need you want to meet, if you think about the definition we made earlier. What else am I going to do? I'm going to go around and have a look and visit blogs. I'm going to go around to blogs that talk about hair, okay? I'm going to look around and see what's going on in those blogs. I'm going to create relationships with the bloggers, because sooner or later, I might want to post my articles on their websites, okay? So I'm going to develop relationships around that. So again, I'm also looking at the subjects being discussed. I'm looking at number of people that are discussing the subject. I'm gonna go on forums as well. Okay, I'm gonna look at forums. I'm gonna have a look at what's been discussed in forums. Okay. Then I'm going to go and have a look at leading websites. Who are the leading websites? I'm going to have a look at that, because I want to be able to determine what's been done about hair on those websites. I want to determine what I should write about by looking at those websites, what kind of website I should make. I want to build relationships also, because I might be able to post my articles on those sites. And then finally, I'm going to see what my competitors are doing. I'll have a look at other hairdressers, perhaps within the area or not too far down the road, or they could be far off, but the leading hairdressers I might want to have a look at. I want to determine what they're doing, how they're selling, what they're selling, their pricing structure, their marketing, their promotion. Why? Because I want to know, so that I can now begin to differentiate myself and build and find my audience. Because when I look at what my competitors are doing, I may discover that there's an audience they're not meeting, so I'm going to go to that audience. So now, let's say you now discover that, okay, my competitors have really ignored the 50 to 65 years age group, and I want to know about that age group. Then I'm going to go on to groups that are for the 50 plus. Let me give another example of this, of what I'm talking about. My wife really loves two things. She loves to sing and she loves fitness. So we said, okay, you love fitness, okay. We're not going to just go set up a page that says fitness. I mean, that's not a niche, We know that people want to be fit, and a lot of people want to be fit and stuff. But I said to her, no, let's not do it that way. Think about who you want to reach. Now, she's over 40. She doesn't look it, but she's over 40. And she now decided that she's going to start a Facebook page on called Over 40 and Fit. Over 40 and Fit. And then she got pictures of people over 40 and fit. And then she got she got posts. She started posting stuff. And you know, she only spent like $10 and she had 1,000 likes. And even though she stopped spending money on advertising, she's still getting likes from the over 40s. Why? Because they're searching. They're using those words, over 40. I'm over 40 and I want to lose weight. I'm over. And then she goes on to the over 40 websites because that's where the over 40s are. She's got a niche there. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. She's got a niche there. So with whatever business you're doing, is the same thing. Apply the same principles because they work. Now, when you now go on to the video I posted earlier in conclusion on how to test your idea, you're going to discover that you can look at the various demographics and then use that video and it would kind of tell you exactly what to do. But to conclude, you have to determine first, which one are you? Are you the passionate person who wants to, who is looking for a business to build their passion around? Or are you the one that is actually looking for a gap to fulfill? Okay, like I said to you, check out the other video on how to test and use the demographics to do that. But in the meantime, send me your questions and comments, and I'm always here to help. If there's anything else I need to say that I've not said, then do let me know and I could create a video for you. All right, talk to you soon. Okay, bless you. God bless. Bye.